Welcome back to the channel everyone, Nova Zing back on the mic. As promised from my last video, here's a part 2 to Adult Gohan's neutral guide. In this video, I'll talk about his neutral changes with his level ups. Now, I know it's been a while since I posted and I'm sorry. I've just been busy with school at uni, life and all that type of stuff. Hopefully I'll be able to upload a lot more now since my semester is coming to an end. Thank you all for staying and waiting for me. Let's now continue with Adult Gohan. In level 3 you get double air dashes, which improves your mobility tremendously. This allows you to traverse 2 zones while being in the air, which most characters can't do. So you can quickly go for an aggressive poke from full screen without the opponent being ready to retreat or counter. It makes it easier to close the distance overall, and also makes it easier to whiff punish things. It allows you to retreat after advancing, which gives you room for mistakes if you dash in for a poke that you notice is too risky, since you can back away again. You can create more space by retreating with double IED back. You can IED back to bait them to come forward into IED forward for a quick overhead. Here is a good example of Wawa using an air dash back to bait his opponent Kaiden to advance forward. Then he uses his second air dash to get back in and surprise him for a hit. If they keep track of your first air action to catch your landings, you'll have another dash to change the landings at the last moment. And you can incorporate all of this with his other tools as we mentioned before. For example, practical uses include doing things like dash jump back J236M dash back, moon jump dash back J236L dash forward, or using J236M dash forward. All of these patterns act as aerial shimmies to bait them into the wrong option, change your timings, turn aggressive for pokes, etc. At level 5, you can use your bigger 5H pokes and your M pokes become stronger since you can now reverse beat. On block, you can get into 3L 5L for his amazing pressure. Now this is really strong on block. Since people aren't used to reverse beat pressure, 5L options such as DR or overheads become much harder to react later in your string, since most people are mentally prepared at the start of blocking. In Gohan's case, reversing into 2L and 3L also allow him to reset pressure safely and getting closer for super dash mix or dash block resets. This overall increases the potency of your pressure just from getting a stray neutral poke. Throw out the 5H as a longer range poke to catch your landings in the air, after dashing forward, after closing them to the corner and other situations with this extra range. A tip is to always press 5HH and then inputting something else. If you accidentally get a hit from a poke, the extra H input gives Adult Gohan a super dash, but on block it doesn't come out. In a similar way, 3H becomes stronger since you can string into 5L without having to wait. So you don't need to time your 3H as precisely as when you're at lower levels, since even if you misjudge it and hit them on the ground with a 3H, you can continue your pressure instead of having to block since it's not your turn. In air-to-air situations, if you landed JH or JL as a poke on block, reverse beat into JM or JL to get into his fuzzy mix-up from neutral. This is harder to do since you need more situational awareness and positioning to start your poke with a JH or JL, which are weaker air buttons, reverse to end with JM or JL, and then have the execution to perform the fuzzy mix. Mid-screen is a lot harder, but you can use IED JH to cross over, and in the corner stick with the JL and 5L mix-up. 5S can also become a stronger poke in zone 2, since you can string 5L into 2M to close the gap even quicker. So if they block 5S in the air, you can get in more easily with your normals instead of having to move forward manually. At level 7, as you guys know, you can cancel specials into specials, but it's actually not that helpful in neutral. But you can practice neutral related strategies such as, if you're able to land J236 kicks on opponents, you can mix in J214L and M for an overhead mix. This is where staircasing down with your normals and ending in kicks comes in, since they know you can't continue with a high normal after the kicks, but you're now able to cancel into an extra high with J214X or land 5L. but mashing 2H does beat this overhead since there is a gap, except if they're mashing it in the air, which makes it a very effective overhead. And the same thing applies to 236 S-beam into 214, there is a gap. Another use is if you punish them with 214H, you can combo without vanishing with a J236M or more easily with the J236H. Allows you to get a sliding knockdown with a vanish into JDR, but can be tricky to always get the timing down. If you miss time it and they actually block your overhead, you can get into J236H mix-ups. And of course, you're able to use his DP more as a poke. It's effective after reflecting assist when opponents move behind it, since you can cancel into kicks if they block the DP. It can be useful as a zone 2 poke if you know they're grounded and within range, like after vanish situations or driving them into the corner, but be careful of whiffing a DP. Even after leveling him up to 7, please don't forget about all his other fundamental tools we went over throughout this video and your universal movement skills. Thank you all for watching. I hope you learned something new in order to improve your gameplay with adult Gohan after watching this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel for more content. Let me know what you think with a comment down below, and also drop some video suggestions that you would like to see in the future. See y'all next time.